Hey everyone, this is Rahul with the Alternative Investors Hangout, and today we're going to have a different type of interview, and we're going to be talking with MasterCoin's Executive Director. He is Ron Gross. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, thanks for having me. Just one correction. I'm the Executive Director of the MasterCoin Foundation. MasterCoin itself is a currency. It's not an organization.
Okay, I apologize for that.
No worries.
But the reason why I wanted to bring you on, first of all, I just want to explain to my audience. First of all, you have to look at Trace Meyer. He talked about, on my friend's show, Wall Street for Main Street, MasterCoin, and I looked into it. I tried to schedule Ron Gross last month, but we couldn't work it out, time differences, and now I've had a chance to look at it, and I'm looking at the, not volume, but I'm just looking at the coin market capitalization of these cryptocurrencies, and this is the fourth largest cryptocurrency, I think, out there based on market cap. So that's why I also wanted to bring Ron on. But anyways, Ron, talk a little bit about MasterCoin, what it is, because most people have not heard of it.
Right. So I'll give a brief explanation. MasterCoin, first of all, it's important to understand right now MasterCoin is mostly, it's not 90% an idea, right? We have things that we're working to develop, but it's a very early stage in the project. What we're basically trying to do is to leverage Bitcoin as, all the security and everything we know, and the anonymity and the decentralization we all know and love from Bitcoin. We're trying to leverage that and build a new layer of financial services on top of that, right? And by financial services, I mean really a big variety of services, starting from basic security features like reversible transactions, going through currency exchange. You can take MasterCoins and peg their value. If people are worried about the volatility of Bitcoin, it's going up or down by 30% a day sometimes. So you can take MasterCoins and just peg them or peg their value to any currency or commodity you want. You can have decentralized stock exchanges like you had GLBSE and Bitfunder and other centralized exchanges where companies issued or did IPOs for their products and services. So you can do the same thing in a decentralized manner, and so on and so forth. You have betting and other types of services that are built on top of MasterCoin.
So you said that there were wild fluctuations in Bitcoin and MasterCoin could be a potential alternative. So there are a lot of companies now offering Bitcoin, not Bitcoin services, but a lot of people are using Bitcoins to potentially buy items, and some of the worry is there's so much volatility in Bitcoin. So are you saying that this could be a potential hedge against Bitcoin?
Yeah,
are you trying to say that?
MasterCoin itself isn't really a hedge, or it's a hedge, but it's not necessarily more stable than Bitcoin, of course, right? It's just another currency. But once you have MasterCoins, right, you have your portfolio, you have Bitcoins, you have MasterCoins, you can take some of the MasterCoins you own and just convert them into US dollar coins or euros or gold coins or whatever other asset you want. So you're basically in control of your portfolio and your exposure to risk, right? You decide how much you want Bitcoin, how much you want MasterCoin. You can even represent the various alt currencies that are out there today inside MasterCoin, and you can just have one portfolio for all the assets in the world, not just cryptocurrencies. And each component will have its own volatility, of course.
All right. I want to get into a little bit about cryptocurrencies. I didn't tell you this, but I'm a skeptic on cryptocurrencies. Yes, I'm anti-government, and I do think that in one way it is interesting because it is a shift from the paradigm of fiat currencies with the U.S. dollar, yen, euro, etc. They're debasing themselves, and I understand why there's a lot of interest. But my question is, once again, these are fairly new out there, and in addition, we've seen all this volatility, not to pick on Bitcoin, but there's a lot of volatility. I still am a skeptic, and half my listeners are for Bitcoin, and half of them agree with me, and they really don't buy the idea of Bitcoin or all these other cryptocurrencies. So explain why you're a believer in these cryptocurrencies, and obviously you're with MasterCoin, because there's just not a fight among libertarians, but there just seems to be a huge divide among anti-government guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an alternative and to the fiat currencies, and I think, you know, when you look at the base properties of money, then and Bitcoin and other derived cryptocurrencies just have a long list of advantages over fiat, right? Fiat basically has one advantage, that it's the early or the first mover advantage, but it's there, and of course government support and back it. But you know, people, the users, back Bitcoin and whatever cryptocurrency. Each cryptocurrency has its own followers and users, right? And if a community, a large enough community, decides to just switch over, you know, either partially or completely to cryptocurrencies, then this new ecosystem is just more efficient and has more, like, better properties than the fiat system, right? Every holder of Bitcoin knows exactly how much of the total Bitcoin economy he gets, and how much will that value be over time, right? If you're holding fiat, you just don't know that. And you know, there's really a long list of advantages. You can send Bitcoins easily without talking to any bank tellers, without any complicated forms, without waiting for the bank to open up. You know, the list is boring, and it's out there, and it's been discussed to death. So I for one just see a lot of advantages in crypto, and I really don't see the disadvantages. Maybe I'm biased.
Yeah, maybe you could be biased. I mean, the only disadvantage I see is that it could potentially be stolen if people don't encrypt their cryptocurrencies the right way.
Right. This is something that's often raised as an argument, but you know, when you analyze the state of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, you need to think at least 5, 10, 15 years ahead, right? And you just looking at the current implementations sends out gives the wrong image, right? If you look enough time ahead, you will have banks, right? Just normal regulated banks with proper physical locations where you can go into one of these banks, open a bank account denominated in Bitcoin. And actually there's at least one initiative doing something like that in Cyprus, which is a very good place for such an initiative after what happened there last April. But the basic thing is that you can have all the properties of fiat, you know, just like you don't really... The thing is, Bitcoin starts as a decentralized currency, right? So we imagine this is the end product. But eventually, if you take the Bitcoin and secure them elsewhere, just like, for example, Coinbase are doing now, you still get the same advantages of fiat, of the security of fiat, right? And Coinbase is maybe the best example we have today for something that's secured by someone else, so you don't have to worry about it. They still don't have bank level security, right? I don't know if they're insured, for example, but you know, there's no reason for the situation not to improve over time, and such mechanisms will be added in the future to make it a lot easier for normal users to use it.
All right, the last thing I actually wanted to get into is when it comes to PayPal and all these credit card companies, especially here in the United States. I'm sure it applies to all over the world, but one of the advantages some of my friends are telling me is that there are low fees with these cryptocurrencies with all the transaction costs. But then the other part of me is saying that there is a huge lobby, especially in the United States, when it comes to the credit card lobby, that may put up all these rules and regulations against these cryptocurrencies, and eventually it could potentially be against MasterCoins. Who knows? Well,
yeah.
There's a... Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's again a general question, and you know, there are lobbies and there are pressure groups everywhere, and I think that actually the issue is a bit larger than just a lobbying group, right? The Bitcoin actually is a power for people to go against or ignore their government, right? If you want to send money to whoever you want without the government knowing about it, you have the ability to do that. Still, even though it's very dangerous for the current system, my belief is that governments really don't have anything they can do about it long term. right? They can do all sorts of short-term regulation, and they can try and slow things down, but all that they will actually achieve is having innovation move elsewhere in the world, right? We don't have a single world government today, right? So there's no conspiracy of all the governments that can come and shut down Bitcoin. Each government, each country is trying to compete against other governments in various forms and fields, right? And one of these fields is regulatory innovation. So the governments that are more open and want to allow these kind of things, these kind of experiments like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, they will attract the human and financial capital, and those that don't keep up with the regulatory innovation. For example, in the U.S., you have to be regulated in all of the states, including all of the different states, including the federal level, right? So this kind of regulation might cost a business $2 million just in legal fees. So this is the reason why a lot of businesses are fleeing the U.S. and actually moving to other jurisdictions. So my point is that, it's governments just don't have the capability to do this. I think primarily because they're each trying to compete with each other. So no single government can do much to harm Bitcoin in the long run.
Alrighty, Ron, this sounds great to learn about MasterCoins and a little bit about cryptocurrencies. But before I let you go, how can people learn more about your foundation again?
Yeah, so the best way to learn about MasterCoin is, of course, going to mastercoin.org. There's a bunch of links there. We have an FAQ in our wiki. Just look for FAQ in the page. And there's also a presentation I did that's recorded and it's available on the site.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Ron.
Thanks for having me. No.